So hello everyone, welcome to Lambert Light Tuesday. Today, hitting a new right on the head, we want to talk about how to build our trust in God during tough seasons of our lives. How to build our trust in God during tough seasons of our life. Right, so one thing that Jesus Christ assured us of is trouble in this world. When we read John 16:33, Jesus said, in this world you have trouble. In this world you have trouble. He made that statement explicitly clear that in this world we have trouble. And one thing or phases in life we cannot escape are tough seasons, hard seasons. They will come by, and just like the word prescribes, there are seasons. They will come by and they will leave. But the thing here is, will you be able to stand when these tough seasons come around? We are told in the Proverbs that if you fail in the times of adversity, your strength is small. The thing here is, most of the times, for the ordinary or average Christian, when they are going through very tough seasons of their life and then you prescribe prayer or pray about it, that is the last thing they want to hear. That is the last thing an average Christian wants to hear when they are going through very tough seasons of their lives. This is because we've not really built our trust in God as being the source of help. Because the thing here is, with how the brain works, the first person that comes into mind anytime you are in their need of help is one you see that can take you through or out of the trouble you're actually experiencing. So the thing here is, if God isn't the first person to come into mind anytime you're in their need of help, you realize your trust really or truly isn't in God that much, and it's something you really and truly ought to work on. So how to build our trust in God during tough seasons of our life. So now let's picture this, and I'll use that to explain this whole thing. Have you ever seen a child being played with by the parent? So the child is being thrown up and then caught, thrown up, caught. The child enjoys all of this ride. Why? Because they trust mommy or daddy enough that mommy or daddy will not let me fall. Even though there's a risk factor of falling down and then hurting yourself at the end of the day. But they do not have that in mind because they know by trust that mommy or daddy or whomever is throwing me will not let me fall. Hence, there is zero risk factor that is in mind and they do not consider it at all. Why? Because there is trust that is present. That I trust mommy enough or daddy enough that daddy throwing me up will surely catch me and will not let me fall. I hope the whole picture is being drawn in your mind now. So now picture this or bring this whole scenario into real life. That there are some experiences that we have in life. Some rough rides that we have in life. Some wrong or negative experiences or tough seasons that we go through. Do you have in mind that Daddy God will not let you fall or fail? Regardless of how it may seem. Get to the point where your trust is solidly built in God, that you know that God will not fail you at the end of the day. God will not let you fall at the end of the day. Get to this point. And how do we get to this point is why we are here. The thing here is, most of the time for the average Christian, anytime they are going through tough seasons of their life and then you recommend go and pray about it, anything prayer or God related is the last thing they would want to hear. It's the last thing we would want to hear or experience. Why? Because trust over here isn't built. Trust here isn't built. We've not seen the power of prayer in the word. But the thing here is, God, seeking him in his word and in the place of prayer is how you can get results. It's how you can see his hand move in that situation to be able to see you through or take you through. There are some troubles or tough seasons that God cannot take you out of it. You have to go through. And from our session last week, you realized from the Psalm 23, yet though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you are with me. So even though you are walking through the valley of the shadow of death, there is a consciousness of God's presence with you through it. Now, trust in God is not one that will just pop out of the blues. It's one that has to be built. And this trust in God, like I said, has to do with we spending time with Him. The more you spend time with someone, the more you begin to know him or her better. And the more you begin to know him or her better, trust is instinctively built. So our trust for God is less or high, all dependent on how well we know God's faithfulness in our lives. So the thing here is, begin and learn to spend time with God. And this is one thing I've said in some sessions before, that the more we spend time with God, the more we begin to know Him. The more we begin to know Him, the more we begin to love Him. The more we love Him, the more we begin to trust Him. Trust is instinctively built with time. The more we spend time with Him, hence we know Him better, then we trust Him more with our lives and everything that concerns us. So you realize your trust for God is low, or at the rate at which it is, because you've not really spent time knowing Him. And you knowing God is not based on church attendance, but the actual time that you spent with Him, invested in a place of prayer and also in the study of the Word, most importantly. In this case, in terms of building trust. Because the more you study the Word, the more you begin to understand and know God's mind concerning your life. The more you begin to see life from His perspective. Hence, you realize that God is more invested in your life than you actually are. That is when you get to understand better that God's plan for your life is very profitable. It can't be trusted than what you think or your plan for your life is. Because I think most of us have gotten to that point where we do some reflections and then we have regrets on some decisions or actions we took. That did I really say this? Did I really do this? The thing is, your brains were still intact, but realize that you were lacking some level of wisdom at a certain point in time. So hence, Proverbs 3:5 comes in. That trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Because at the point you took that action that you later regretted, you were leaning on your own actions. You were leaning on your own wisdom. But along the line, later in the future, you realize that as at that point, your wisdom or understanding was lacking something. Hence, you knew better, which was later in the future. But I can even guarantee that even now, what you think you know, which is more better, is still lacking some form of understanding and then wisdom. So the thing here is, why not subscribe to God's wisdom once and for all? Where we begin to lay down everything we feel is right, and then pick up God's wisdom and understanding, level of understanding for our lives. So one, how we build our trust in God is we spending so much time in a place of prayer and in the Word, getting to read more. And in reading more, we get to understand there's a consistency that is being built in terms of understanding God's mindset and how God thinks, His perspective towards our life and His perspective towards things concerning us as individuals and the whole Christian body at large. So building trust in God is not one that is God dependent, it is us dependent. Like I said, it's like a seed that has to be watered day by day. So you can see the flowers, then see the fruits. Because outside of trust towards God, I have some statistics over here I'd want to read, and this is just limited to my country, Ghana. Within last year, 2023, for the whole year, there were 594 attempts of suicide, and 48 of them were actually successful. So 48 people committed suicide, but there were 594 attempts. But within the half of 2024, there were 543 attempted suicide. That is just half of 2024, and there were 81 of them that were successful. 81 people actually killed themselves. And you realize that most of these people were going through tough seasons of their lives, where they knew no one to actually lean on, or they didn't know they can actually trust God through this tough season. Understand this, that God is with you. Yet do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because you are with me. God has not neglected you. You are in safe hands. He's seeing you through whatever you are going through. Don't give up on life. God hasn't given up on you. He's with you and in you at all times. There's an assurance you have to have. There's an assurance. God is with you and in you at all times. You are not alone. I'll see you next week. So, Gloria. Bye.